He provides the beat behind one of the most commercially successful and musically influential bands of rock's last quarter century, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Meet drummer Chad Smith.
Yeah, sometimes they'll say, I got the idea for this drum beat, and Flea will go, it's like, or whatever.
Right.
It's that trust of like, wow, I normally didn't, that might not be my initial gut thing, but like, yeah, I'll try that. Why not? It might be really cool, might be not cool. But you gotta be open, and that's what we're really, I think that's one of our strengths, is to be open to any ideas and try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Well, and so when you're going in to do a new record, it's like, all right, we got to go in and do a new record. We're going to start it.
But we don't go like, all right, we gotta go. We're like, woohoo!
Part 2 of our backstage conversation with one of America's greatest living drummers, Chad Smith of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Coming up next on Music Makers.
Music Makers is made possible in part by NAM, the National Association of Music Merchants. We envision a world in which the joy and many benefits of making music are a precious element of daily living for everyone. Want to play?
Chad Smith of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is recognized as one of America's premier rock drummers. Rolling Stone named him one of the 100 greatest drummers of all time, and Modern Drummer ranked him number 2 on the list of best living drummers. And now, he and the Red Hot Chili Peppers are enshrined in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Where do some of the grooves come from on these tunes? When you guys do it, does someone come in with, hey, I've got this new tune, right? I mean, is the groove already set, or is it, here's what this tune sounds like, here's kind of my melody, and then you're thinking, hey, let's do this groove or let's do that groove. Talk to me a little bit about that, because it certainly seems like what makes a tune so unique is the grooves are so different from tune to tune. And do they come in like that, or do you add those when they come in? How do you guys write together?
There's never really one way that it does happen, and it's changed. Like I say, we've always done where we've jammed and improvised, and song ideas will come out of that, and always have been through the history of the band. And then Flea will have a bass line at home. He was playing, hey, I got this thing, or the guitar player will play, hey, I got this idea, what do you guys think of this? But it was never the band of like, hey, I finished this demo with the drum machine on it, and here's this song I got. We understand the strengths of the individual players and their creative input, and how myself or any other member would, injecting their personality on their instrument into this creative process and into this idea. I'll give you an example. It's a song called Danny California on Stadium Arcadium. John, our guitar player, John Frusciante at the time, he was listening to Wu-Tang Clan all weekend. And he came up with this don't dang don't dang, but the Wu-Tang Clan drum beat was this real hip hop boom 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 boom, and so he brings it in, and of course I hear that and I play the drums, but it sounds like Sweet Home Alabama instead of like the Wu-Tang Clan, you know? So it's like the same beat, but it's how, and the way he's thinking of it and the way I'm thinking of it, but it works.
In Alabama, she was swing a hammer. Price you gotta pay when you break the panorama. She never knew that there was anything more than gold.
And it's like, that's the beauty of being in a creative situation where people are encouraged to have their input. So, sometimes they'll say, I got the idea for this drum beat, and Flea will go, it's like, or whatever.
Right.
And his drum speak is like kind of nutty, so I will, assimilate it and do it in a way that I hear it, or I think that would work.
Well, he's such a rhythmic bass player. I mean, in all slaps and everything.
Yeah, of course. He's got incredible ideas. He's an incredible musician, and so. But normally, if he was playing that part, I might not think to play like a tom beat or something. I'd probably go, to the old hi-hat kick snare and come up with something syncopated. But because he's hearing it like that, I'll do it that way. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But like, it's that trust of like, wow, I normally didn't. I mean, that might not be my initial gut thing, but like, yeah, I'll try that. Why not? It might be really cool. Might be not cool. But you gotta be open, and that's what we're really. I think that's one of our strengths, is to be open to any ideas and try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you got to be not
There's
like
no egos involved.
That sucks. No, I got it. This is what it should be. You know, we never. You know, try it, and if it doesn't, if it's great, sometimes it's great. Hopefully.
Yeah.
And then other times, no, you know, this would be better. Or what I do. You know, typical. Like he'll say to do this, I do my own version of it, and that will inspire him to change his part. And that will, oh, well, now there's a space for me to do this. I was going to do that. And like, that's just how it works.
Well, and so when you're going in to do a new record, it's like, all right, we got to go in and do a new record. We're going to start it.
But we don't go like, all right, we got to go. We're like, woohoo!
But the thought is you're going in pretty much open, you know, everybody's got a few riffs to do.
Canvas, yeah.
That's great. And you just sit down, you spend time together in the rehearsal studio and until you get some tunes written.
Yeah, we're not the right on the road kind of band, you know. Mm-hmm. All the records are a real snapshot of where the band is at that particular time. We write for 9 months, 6 months, 9 months. And that's the music, that's where we're at as a band and as musicians at that time. We go in and record them. And
during that 8 or 9 months or whatever, I mean, you're literally what, once a day? Are you seeing each other 2 or 3 times a week? Or are y'all?
Oh, we go, 4 or 5 times maybe, you know, yeah. Like
so you're just
maybe,
like, hey,
maybe.
what's everybody's schedule like this week?
On the last one we did 4 days a week, and we would probably jam and write for 4 or 5 hours or something like that.
Well,
it just kind of depends on how, you know, if something's flowing and you've got all kinds of, we'll keep going, but some days you'll be like, this sucks. Let's go home.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, I think that's
normal. It's not every day you come, wow, we wrote a great song today. Sometimes you get 3 great ideas. Other days you jam on something and like,
And I think that's a really interesting thing, you know, for our viewers to see and for all of us to know, kind of the inside workings. You know, these bands say, oh, I've gone in to do an album, and yeah, it took us a year, it took us 6 months, or it took us, you know, on a day-by-day basis. You guys are going in,
we're working,
spending the time.
We're working.
You're doing the work.
We do.
Yeah.
We work. You know, it's, you know, work is funny, but
it is though.
It is though. We consciously, you
yeah.
know, we make it. Everybody makes a real effort. This is you know, this is our writing time. You know, and you know, bring something or just come with your ideas
sure.
and come with your open mind and heart. And
you ever afraid it's all just you're going to show up some days and you're going to be there for a month and nothing's going to happen? I can tell. You know, the pot's empty.
Yeah, no, we fortunately, you know,
right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right there.
We've been lucky to where, you know, there's different times when things you're more prolific, but, you know, I just can think back of when Josh joined our group, and we wrote 2 things the first day that ended up on the record. 2 ideas of songs, Brendan's Death Song and Annie Wants a Baby. Both these 2 things were jams that ended up turning into songs, and we wrote stuff the last day that actually ended up being on the record. So the whole process was, you know, was really, it was very, you know, fruitful, and everyone just was excited to be playing and back together. We'd taken a couple years off, which we needed to do. But maybe the only time when you say if you're empty, when John Frusciante joined our group again in 1998, I believe, and we went to 2008, like 10 years. We made record, you know, record tour, record tour. And we did that for 10 years. And, you know, we did a lot of work and we traveled and it was great and it was fantastic and we had a great time. But it was time for a break.
Yeah, that's...
And you know, you want to be with your families. We're older now. Everybody's got lives. You want to not be a Chili Pepper for like a year. Because our managers will be like, come on, man, you got to... We're like, no, we're just going to take some time off. And that was important, and we knew, you know, you just have to go. No, we need that break because we need to refresh and recharge our batteries, and it was, you know, people, oh, that's career suicide, man. Why would you do that?
You come back with better tunes.
Yeah. No.
I don't want to pry on this either, but you brought up the situation with family. That, you know, do you travel with family, or how do you handle that? You know, you're on the road for long term. The guys come in. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Anthony travels
reality,
with his son, you know. Yeah, he travels with, he's got a young son. It's 4 years old, and he travels with him. And yeah, Flea has a young daughter who's 6. I have a boy that's 7, and I have another one that's 3. but they're in school right now. They're almost out of school, one more week. But yeah, when they have breaks, they'll come out. And it's great to have our families out. It's really, it can be a little hard because it's like you're out work. Like I'm still like out here like working, and they're like, "Woo!"
I have to be at a sound check.
Yeah, I still
right.
have to do my thing, and but sometimes it's hard for them to really, come on, get up, 6:30, come on, let's go, Legos. I'm like,
I'm out.
I'm like,
next contestant,
dude, give me a break. It's cute, but. You were fortunate to be able to have them, come out.
Well, that is great.
It is,
and you guys travel such that you've all got your own space to do it. And
yeah, we're lucky like that. So no, it's fun. It is good, and for them to see, it's what your dad does.
Oh heck yes.
Cole's 7. He slept all the way through the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was out before Donovan came on or whatever.
I'm sure it was taped somewhere else.
In
posterity.
Someday. I was there.
Look what your cool old man did.
Yeah, But it's.
Well, you talk about the children. I would assume, I don't know the backstory of this at all, which is what I'm going to ask, but I would assume this probably had something to do with it. You had that album project, you did with Dick Van Dyke, the children's tunes.
Right.
Tell me about, number one, how did it come about? And for crying out loud, how did you ever connect with Dick Van Dyke? But even beyond that, was that kind of a, I'd love to do something my children can appreciate?
Oh, yeah. My son Cole was 4. He was in preschool. We were living in Malibu. And the teacher would come in once a week and just play for the kids. This woman named Leslie Bixler. And I went to his school one day to just kind of check it out. And we hit it off, man. I started playing these little drums, and she would play these songs. And she wrote children's music. She had done one other record called Moon Food, and so we just hit it off, and she was like, we should do something like rhythm-oriented, and the kids just so connect with the drums, and because young kids do, they.
Now, is this a music teacher or just general ed teacher?
No, she's a music teacher.
Oh,
yeah, she's
good.
a music teacher. Yeah.
Not like, my God, you're the luckiest dad in the history of dads. You found a teacher to do that.
No, right. No, she was the music teacher that would come in once a week and play for the kids. So she would come over and we just started coming up with these songs, and she had this idea of rhythm train and the train that went around the world and the different kinds of music, we're gonna go to Africa, or we're gonna go to Australia, or we're gonna go underwater, we're gonna go, to Mexico and all this. So that was all her idea, and then we just kind of collaborated on these songs. And then she was friends with Dick Van Dyke, who also lives in Malibu, and I think he had sang on her last record, and so she call him up. She's like, I know Dick. I'm like, yeah, Dick Van Dyke. Call him up. Awesome. And he was the coolest guy. He was so cool. He was, 84 years old, whatever, like sharp, dancing, telling stories. It was awesome. So he rapped on this one song. He's not a very good rapper.
The rhythm.
But did your kids like it?
Loved it. And there was a song on there that I wrote and played guitar on called Cole's Train, because he was obsessed with Thomas the Train.
Cole sure likes his train. Edward, Thomas, and Jane.
I think he thought it was pretty cool, but it was cooler for me to play with Dick Van Dyke.
It's rugged. Here you are, one of the best rock and roll drummers in the world. And I'm sure your parents, if it's anything like, not that I'm in any way that, but the same thing, to get your children to at least acknowledge that what you do is moderately hip.
Yeah.
They're like, what's your dad do? Some band or something.
Yeah, right? Some band.
Something.
Peppers,
but that had to have been great. He finally
I think
he locked in.
I think he thinks it's all right. Yeah, I think so.
Now, you've described, if the Chili Peppers are your wife, you said you have this mistress that you go to now and then in the form of Chickenfoot.
Right.
Obviously, they call it a super band or not, and the other players in it. But again, just tell me a little bit about the founding of that, if you will. It's probably a story people have heard, but I'd love to hear it coming from your mouth.
Yeah. About 2003, I went on vacation down in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico.
Poor you.
Yes, poor me. I was on tour and I was like, I just want to go somewhere. I think we'd been in Europe, it was cold, it was like in February, and I was like, I just want to go somewhere for 10 days, like warm. And I talked to our travel agent. She said, I'm sending a lot of our clients down to Cabo. It's really easy from LA, 2 hours, you're right there. It's hot, beach is great. Oh, cool, okay. So I go down there and I really liked it. It was great, had a great time, and went back on the next one. And when I was getting on the airplane, Jerry Cantrell, who plays in Alice in Chains, a guitar player for Alice in Chains, who I know, was on the plane. And oh, you going to Cabo? Yeah, I'm going out. I'm playing Sammy's birthday bash. And I was like, and I'd heard of Cabo Wabo and Sammy Hagar's place, and I'd never been there or anything. So he goes, you should come down. I'm like, oh, all right, cool, great. I was by myself. So I go down and checked out and this is the second time I went, oh, I really like it, so I ended up getting a place down there. I got a house down there. So I was checking on the house, and at night I go downtown, it's not too far, and it's just, you know, kind of small, it's not big, the downtown area is not that big. I turn around the corner, and there's just people lined up in the streets, all the way around the corner, they're loud, they're all lined up for Sammy's birthday bash. Unbeknownst to me, he has every year. And
it really is his birthday.
It's his birthday. It's October or whatever it was. And, you know, Alice in Chains was playing, and Tommy Lee's there, a bunch of other people. And so that's where we met. He's like, I love the Chili Peppers, man. Oh, you live here? No way, blah, blah, blah. And he's like the mayor down there. I mean, it's like, you know, he's like, Sammy can do whatever he wants. So we just hit it off. We just hit, I mean, literally, for me walking up to the front going, you know, can I come in? Jerry said it was okay. Let me see your ID. And I'm like, okay, give me a license. I'll be right back. I'm like, okay. Sammy wants to see you right now. Oh, okay.
That's where he was in there. He was in there.
We go.
Were you buddies with Sammy before that?
No.
Oh,
never met him.
This is introduction numero uno.
Yeah, never met the man.
This is a good story.
Yeah.
Continue.
And there he is, and he's like, come on. I love the Chili Peppers. Sammy's really, you know, he's a very positive, great guy, and he's just like, oh man, I love Chili Peppers and this and that. Come on, you got to play. And like, I literally like 20 minutes there, I'm like on stage, like playing, you know, some Montreux song or something. And I mean, he's just that guy.
You're hitting it. You're all jamming.
We're having a great time. So we hit it off, you know, as friends. And whenever he would go down there, he obviously has a home there. Call me up. Yeah, I'm going down. You should go. And so we would hook up and we'd, you know, hang out and have dinner. He loves to eat and drink, and we would play, and so
like
it started like that.
With,
no, he's he likes to have a good time. Sam really enjoys himself. There's no doubt about it. God bless
his
him.
heart. Yeah.
And so that was really, you know. So fast forward about 5 years later, and we'd always talked, oh, we should do something sometime. And often when you jam with people, you know, oh man, that was great. We should play. And everyone's busy lives, and you never get to hook up with people, but. I told him, I said, Sam, when the Chili Peppers took our break, I said, you know, talk about playing together. It was a good time. I'm going to have like a year off, you know.
This is when you guys took your hiatus.
Yes.
Okay. And
he was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And I knew Mike had come down as well, Mike Anthony.
Sure.
And I'd met him and we'd played. So
and you should tell our viewers who's in the group.
Mike Anthony, who's played in Van Halen up until, you know, this last tour. And Sammy Hagar, who played Montreux, solo, Van Halen, and, you know, he's been around for 100 years.
He is who he is.
He's
Sammy.
3,000 years old. Looks good, though.
Well preserved.
Well preserved. Must be yellow tequila.
Yeah, that's right.
And so so it's the three of us, and I'm like, well, you know, we should play. You know, it's like jam. And he's like, you guys are too good, man. I'm not a good enough guitar player. I'll call Joe. And I go, okay, Joe, great. You call Joe. Joe who?
Yeah, you think
Joe Satriani.
Joe Barton, the guy around the corner, right?
Yeah, Joe the plumber. He's like, Joe Satriani. He's my buddy. He lives in Mill Valley. He's in San Francisco. I go, yeah, okay, call him. He's good. You call him. That would be great. Yeah.
That'd be a nice feeling. Joe Satriani.
Yeah.
One of the heaviest ever.
Yeah, he's all right.
Ever.
I was like, okay, that would work. And he calls him. A month later, Sam's doing some show for the Super Bowl and somewhere, I think it was in Vegas, it was. And he invites the four of us to come, and he's playing with his band, and we came up for the encore, and we just jammed on, you know, I don't remember
Some
what
tune.
songs. Yeah, rock and roll, Led Zeppelin, and some other songs, Going Down or something. And it was just fun. And it was great. And that was it. Next thing you know, we were writing songs and making records. And first record went gold. It was great. Yeah, I was like, wow, how fun is this? And this is the kind of music that like I grew up on, like that kind of. That's so easy for me to go there, play that kind of, you know, classic rock or blues rock or whatever. And same for Joe. You know, he does the instrumental thing, but he grew up on that. We all did.
So talking about Chickenfoot, I mean, how lucky is that you finally, you know, you lock up with these guys. They end up being a boatload of fun. I mean, there's always this exercise. The question I wanted to ask was, now honestly, was that a good musical thing, or does it really just look like the best chance in the world to hang out with a bunch of buddies that you really enjoy?
You know, it was...
Maybe it's both, right?
It was both. Unfortunately, it stayed fun, and you know, we started out as a thing just for fun, and let's see if we can write some songs. Oh, hey, we got some music. Hey, that's pretty good. And it just stayed fun. We went on tour. It was a blast. I mean, music should be fun. You know, it really should be. You know, you talked about the hard work and what goes into, you know, being a creative musician, but it's important to remember that, like, you know, you do it. I do it, and I did it, and still do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time.
I have a funny question for you, but I think this is going to really connect with anyone who's watching this that's ever, particularly any drummers that have ever watched this that are not Chad Smith or you know, Neil Peart or you know, something like that. And that is, recall the first time that you'd finally gotten to a point where someone else was hauling your gear around and setting your drums up for you.
Ooh.
That you could just, you showed up and you went, oh my God, it's already there.
Set 'em up.
I didn't do that.
And you know, the drummer, man, we got a lot of crap. You know, it's not like bring your microphone or bring your guitar. You know, drums, lots of stuff. So you're usually kind of got to be the first guy. You know, have to be the first guy to set up, but you know, it takes a while. Get everything. It's got to be just right, and you know. So years of hauling my stuff around, and
you and the other millions of drummers out there watching this.
Yeah. Well, the first time, I mean, I'm trying to think of really the first time. First time would probably be, so when did I have my first drum tech? Probably, you know, right out of high school, I joined this band called Tilt, and yeah, they had a guy who's kind of set everything up.
Oh, so this was pre getting into the Chili Peppers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, this isn't nearly as big a deal as I thought. I was waiting for the, oh my God, I've made it moment.
No. We had in Tilt, they had one guy. He set up everything, and he didn't set them up very good. But at least it was like they actually went in a truck. They had cases. That was the first time I ever got cases.
Right.
Cases for the drums? What do you mean?
Are you kidding?
Wrap them in towels. We can put them in the bag of this. What do you mean?
How are they going to fit?
Cases? What's this? You know, and yeah, and he would set them up, and I thought, man, this is big time. This is good. After the best part, after the gig, you're like you just want
to eat.
You eat, drink, hang out, whatever, girls, whatever. And you know, and the drums are just still set up, and everyone, and you're like, but you know what? That was then. 30 years ago.
That was then.
That was then. But you know, you know, I take my stuff away. You know, if I'm just doing something myself, and I'm going to play with some people or something, you know.
You're still setting stuff up.
I take them in the car, man.
Throw them in.
Yeah, it's great.
Tell me a little bit. I know something you care a lot about is Music Cares. Tell us about that.
Music Cares is a program that's connected with the Grammy people, and I believe is it NARAS?
Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences.
Thank you.
That's it. Yeah, it is NARAS.
And every year they do a big show right around the Grammy time where there's these Music Cares Person of the Year. And last year it was Paul McCartney. It was Neil Young. And, you know, it's the whole. You know, it's just
big fundraiser.
Big fundraiser, millions of dollars, and it's great. But they also do a show where they do a person for people that have are addicts, or they help musicians that need care, not necessarily with addiction, that's one part of it, but just any kind of health care, that don't have any insurance, that can't afford to, take
These
care
are
of
musicians that
themselves.
have fallen on hard times.
Yes.
Hopefully being supported by other musicians who
Yes.
aren't having hard times.
Well put. And it's been going on for a long time. In our group, we've had drug addiction. We've had a guitar player, Hillel Slovak, passed away from drugs. And it's important, and it's something that we're very connected to. And if we can do anything to help anybody, and it's addiction is a disease, and it's in life. The plumber, the lawyer, whoever. But us being musicians, these are the people that we're connected to, and so we do benefits for them. And Anthony, a few years back, was honored. I call it, he was Drug Addict of the Year. And he got the Golden Needle. So I joke about it. It's not a joking matter, but for him, he's been clean for a long time. It's really great. And
Bless his heart.
yeah. So it's it's music cares, and any way anybody can help, and they can donate money, or they have a website and connect with that, and it's just it's wonderful. People do a great job.
Terrific. Well, it's a nice thing you support it.
Yeah.
Listen, man, it couldn't have been any more fun meeting you and hanging out. I can't wait to hear you play the show here in a few minutes.
It's going to be great tonight.
Lucky me, I get to show up. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for doing it, and we really appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. Good luck with everything.
All right.
Music Makers is made possible in part by NAM, the National Association of Music Merchants. We envision a world in which the joy and many benefits of making music are a precious element of daily living for everyone. Want to play?
For more information on Music Makers with Scott Houston and program guests, please visit our website at www.musicmakerstvshow.com.